Hello everyone, my name is Abhi and this is Maha Film Fanatic, and in today's video we are going to be reviewing Uma Maheshwara Ugra Roopasya, starring Satyadev and directed by Venkatesh Maha. So I was initially hesitant to review this film because if you do know, Uma Maheshwara Ugra Roopasya is a remake of the much acclaimed Malayalam film Maheshinte Prathikaram, and I hadn't seen the original, so I thought it wasn't really worth my time to review the Telugu version. And as I mentioned in a recent video, I'm not a fan of remakes that don't do anything different from the original, but I've heard this one does enough to differentiate itself from the original while staying faithful to the source material. And given the pandemic and the state of movies right now, I thought it would also be worth reviewing this movie because it might be one of the last major Telugu films to release this year, of course with the exception of Nani's V coming out on September 3rd on Amazon Prime. And this movie is also directed by Venkatesh Maha, who directed Care of Kancharapalam, which I said in my last video is just one of my favorite movies of all time. So anyways, I'll be reviewing this movie without having watched the original, so let's just start with a quick plot summary. Uma Maheshwara Ugra Roopasya follows Mahesh, played by Satyadev, who is a photographer and lives with his dad in Araku Valley near Visakhapatnam, which is a village area in Andhra Pradesh, where everybody knows everybody and your problem is everybody's problem. Mahesh is also in a long-standing relationship with his high school sweetheart, yet in the first act the relationship is cut as her family finds a better marriage proposal in the US. And then it all finally comes crashing down for Mahesh when he is involved in a local street fight and is humiliated in front of most of the village, and for the rest of the movie Mahesh vows to enact revenge, and through this journey of revenge he finds new love and reignites a new passion for photography, all the while waiting to beat those people up. Now it seems pretty cut and dry, but there's a lot more than what meets the eye. The director of this movie, Venkatesh Maha, definitely has a knack of properly showing village life, as he proved it in both Care of Kancharapalam and this one. He does such a good job of portraying the village scenery and life within it that you yourself also feel like a resident alongside Uma Maheshwara as you're watching his every move throughout the course of the film. And Venkatesh Maha is probably the only director in the Telugu industry who properly portrays this kind of backdrop that is rarely explored in Telugu cinema and is usually relegated to stereotypes and melodrama. Along with Venkatesh Maha's accurate portrayal of village life, the cinematography was wonderful, and the cinematographer Abu Prabhakar shoots the scenes from the perspective of Uma Maheshwara, completely immersing the audience into the character as well as the environment he was in. On top of this, the scenes were lit spectacularly, and every scene just looks beautiful. They also do this fun thing, which isn't completely relevant to the cinematography, but something that I enjoyed, where whenever they showed a flashback, they would apply a retro filter to the scene that added a lot more personality. Another thing that added a lot of personality was the music, as Bijibal, the same person who did the music for the Malayalam version, delivered a great soundtrack. The songs were really melodious, but more importantly, the songs never felt like a distraction and were actually used to progress the plot, or were used to set up the story and just get a feel for the environment, and it just did that very effectively. Along with the great soundtrack, Satyadev gave a brilliant performance. Satyadev plays Mahesh as soft and sensitive, yet manages to provide an edge and a sense of impending doom as you don't know when or if he's going to snap. And as the movie progresses, we really get to learn the intimacies of his character, and Satyadev gives such a convincing performance that we are engulfed in his worldview. And I believe that this role has cemented Satyadev as a leading man for years to come. Outside of Satyadev, I really enjoyed both Suhas and Naresh's performances. Naresh gives another consistently great performance as he brings his loud personality while balancing that out with quieter moments. Suhas was also a surprise to me in this one because so far I had only seen him in a few small roles as a pretty insignificant character, but here he brings much needed comedic relief while still portraying a compelling character. Another plus are the two female leads. They give authentic performances, delivering dialogue from their mother tongues that not many actresses in the industry can even emulate. There is something incredibly refreshing about seeing Telugu actresses on the screen as opposed to North Indians doing their best to keep up. And Mahesh's first girlfriend in the film, played by Chandana, is not in the film for a long time but gives an effective performance. But to me, the real breakout star in the film is Rupa Kodavayar, who truly captures the essence of her character, and you can tell she's giving the performance from an authentic place and not faking it. She embodies the Telugu actress that I want to see in more movies going forwards. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you're watching this movie is that the language is a more native Telugu, in the sense that it can be kind of difficult to understand if you don't pay attention too closely. But other than that, I found the writing in the film to be wonderful. The dialogues, especially from the character of Mahesh's father, is at times downright poetic. And the dialogue does a great job of not coming off as too cinematic, but is still well written and effective throughout. There are also some fun pop culture references, as well as some nice jokes dispersed throughout to keep the audience entertained and give pause to some of the dramatic or emotional beats. And despite being tagged as a tale of revenge, the script is pretty lighthearted for the most part and doesn't tonally shift too much. Now, I would say my biggest issue with this movie is pacing. After the first half, it slows down quite a bit, which came a little unexpected, but I will say it does take an interesting turn narratively as the audience begins to learn more about Mahesh as an individual, but there are also many times during this period where you don't really see what the point of the movie is. You're sitting there wondering, where will the movie go from here? And as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I haven't seen the original, but considering in my experience that Malayalam films tend to have slower pacing, I wouldn't be surprised if the original did as well. But the ending definitely makes up for this, as even in the end, you're not sure if it has a real point, but you know it's just a sweet tale of revenge. And at the end of the day, Uma Maheshwara Ugra Roopasya is not a perfect film, but it's a realistic, emotional, light-hearted take on revenge carried by brilliant performances from Satyadev. I, of course, can't say definitively if Uma Maheshwara Ugra Roopasya is a faithful remake of Maheshinte Prathikaram, but to me, it really doesn't matter. In my last movie review, I did give a rating for the film, but going forwards, I don't feel it's right to assign a numeric value to a movie. So I'm just going to say, go ahead and watch it, you won't be disappointed, and considering new movies are slim pickings right now, it's definitely worth your time. Thank you for sticking through till the end of the video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and let me know in the comments down below if you've seen Uma Maheshwara Ugra Roopasya, and if you have, let me know what you thought about it, and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content in the future. Thanks.